All right, we are live. Give me a minute here to get myself situated. We're going to go live on Amazon as well. So let me do that real quick here. All right, so we are up and running on Amazon. And the other thing I'm going to do is get my chat thing going. So let me get that situated. And then we'll get to the unboxing. We're going to shoot a little extras unboxing video as well. So that will be something we'll do as part of this. And then we'll get moving. All right, there we go. Joe Tyson, already here. All right. Yeah, I should have got myself, I hit the start streaming button sooner than I was ready, but now I'm ready. So I know a lot of you like these things. I do. I mean, geez, for 40 bucks, delivered. Outdoor PTZ security camera. And we're going to try it out. Test it, see how it works. Zain Ajam is here. Romeric is here. Happy New Year, everybody. I don't think we've done a YouTube stream since last year, since like December. So we are getting ourselves ready to go here. And let me just want to get my stream up here so I can chat on the Amazon thing. And then I think we'll be ready to get going here. Yeah, so this is the Wyze Cam Pan. And this is the new pan and tilt zoom camera that they just came up with. So that is what we've got here. Now, I am not recalling what scandal there was. I know there was a scandal with Eufy that was pretty significant. Wyze had an issue with, that's right, they did have it was a little less, a little more ambiguous. Let me recall what exactly it was, because I remember digging into this. Yeah, so if you look at my video, if you go to Lon.TV/Wyze, I did a piece on this because I think, once again, The Verge kind of blew this out of proportion. And there was a potential vulnerability, but it wasn't what they were making it out to be. It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad. Hey, my friend Matt Reese is here. Hello there. Hope it's warm in Florida. It's rainy today here in Connecticut. Gamma Filter is here. David Langley is here. J.R. Arroyo is here. Welcome. Chris K is here. Hope I got your name right there. Anthony Biacco is here. John is waiting on his to be delivered today. Yeah, this came in, I think, right before the holidays, and there was a... No, so this is not the case. So the feeds could not be hacked remotely. That was the difference. They had to have access to your local network. And if you go to Lon.TV/Wyze, I covered this. It took 17 minutes to explain it, but I do remember this now. And what happened was, yeah, so they had to be on the local network, and if they could bypass the authentication and access the SD card, but they had to be on the same network as the camera. It was not accessible over the internet. And that was what The Verge got wrong. They indicated initially that they could come in over the internet. That wasn't the case. Now, the issue, though, is that the older Wyze cameras will, I think, retain that vulnerability, but this one certainly won't. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun in Vegas. You know what was funny about the Vegas trip was that a lot of creators waited until they got back to post stuff. So I actually did okay because there wasn't a lot of CES content going on at the time that CES was going on. So we got about almost 87,000 views, I think, across all those videos, which for me is pretty good, especially for when I first upload something. But those won't be evergreen, you know, so. And then last night, of course, we did the first review of the year, which was of that Unihertz phone. But yeah, we did okay at CES. It was fun. I always like going there. It's good, you know, I go there actually mostly for networking purposes, so I can find stuff to review. So that is that. Manny Acosta is here. Hello there. Kevin Hawthorne is here. Hope your busy season has died down now over there at Lakeland, Florida. And the Dora 73, Daryl is here. Welcome. HT is here. Yeah, you know, so there is an option, and actually they sent, you can use any SD card, but they sent along a 128 gigabyte card here. This camera will work without a subscription, but for the best results, you're going to want to put that SD card in. But you don't get all the features that you would if you had the paid subscription. So a lot of that AI, human recognition stuff is not going to be part of it. All right, well, let me do an unboxing and setup video, because those actually did pretty well on Amazon the last time I did it. Thank you, Gemma. Yeah, you know, my only regret was not staying a day later. I think, you know, next year I might, it was weird because of how they scheduled this. They had it run through the whole weekend. And so the pre-show event that is typically the night before it opens, maybe it was the same schedule. Whatever it was, it felt like we had to get there a lot earlier than usual. And the problem that I ran into with it is, with CES, is that in past experiences, we would often dedicate a day and a half of just walking around the floor looking for stuff. And it's exhausting, and you don't often find a lot. So what was interesting was that we did not do really, we did like maybe 3 or 4 hours of show walking. And we walked in an area of the show that I knew we'd find stuff that would be of interest to the channel. And I ended up getting the same amount of videos out of it without having to go hunting around. So we spent so much wasted time. So this year, what I thought I would do was, you know, look at all the press releases that came in and find some interesting stuff, but I really didn't get much. So all the PepCom show, the CES Unveiled, and Showstoppers were really our best opportunities there. How do you network? Well, the best way to network is to show up. And I think once you start seeing people over and over again, you develop relationships. And you know, the first CES show I went to, I didn't know anybody. And this one, I knew a lot of people. So it's just a matter of building relationships, I think. That's the most important thing. RTSC, no. Unfortunately, no RTSP support on this one. In fact, they have stopped, like the official RTSP firmware is not even available. I checked right before I started the video today. So unfortunately, that is not the case. Tyler says, I hope this is good. I suspect it's going to be consistent. That's what I suspect. Yeah, I think, well, it does about 20 frames per second at 1080p during the day with night vision 15. No zoom or anything. So I guess PT, not PTZ. Oh, it does say zoom, but I don't think it's got a zoom on it. I'm just looking on the specs here. I guess maybe the zoom is digital. Yeah, why would they call it pan tilt zoom when there's actually no zoom? But it does do a clever thing for shutting down the camera when it's not in use. So we'll explore that. Price on this is $40. Amazon link in the description. That's what's attractive about these things. I believe it will work in -30. There's no battery, so it has to be powered all the time. And yeah, so Matt, you and I talked about that. I think what I need is I think you're volunteering, aren't you? We need a runner. And by the way, my friend Matt here is talking about networking, is the world's best networker. Nobody can say no to this guy. He's great. Matt K is here. Let's see here. Yep, he's raising his hand. All right, and Game of Filters has a good camera. So let me get my recording set up here. So what we're going to do is record we're going to record something for the extras channel. And this is going to be Wyze Cam Pan V3 unboxing. And I'm going to record this so that I have something as a result of this stream that I can use later. And if you click the Amazon link in the description, you can find these. So these are, so it's funny, usually like Wyze makes these cameras available on their website first before Amazon. This time it's Amazon first because they're out of stock on their own website. So if you click the link, you'll see where to get it. And that'll take you to my Amazon live stream. And by the way, I've been doing a little bit more Amazon live streaming than YouTube streaming lately, because what I've been doing is like kind of recording stuff live, which has been kind of fun. All right. I have looked at a lot of smart home stuff, but I have not seen Sonoff. But I'm always on the lookout for, what I'm looking for are products that can work without a subscription. And this one has a subscription, but it doesn't require it. Recipe Bob is here. Happy New Year to you. All right, let's get to unboxing. You know, people get very aggravated when I don't unbox my boxes properly, so I'm going to, they don't like when I rip the box. So I'm gonna just get it started here. Well, I'm ripping the box, what the heck. This thing's not going back in the box. I'm probably gonna set this up somewhere. All right. Zam is here. Yeah, so you got to go to the Amazon link. If you go to the Amazon link, it will take you right to the camera, I believe. Yeah, so it's in stock right now at Amazon. It's not for sale on Wyze's own site because they have sold out already. Oh, it's weird that yours says out of stock because I'm looking at mine. This must be a regional thing because my Amazon, I don't know where you're located, but on mine, it says in stock. I can get it tomorrow. So I wonder if it's just a, if it's an issue of distribution center. But yeah, I can have mine delivered within 11 hours, or actually, maybe not, 24 hours, but it'll be here tomorrow, January 14th, if I order it right now. $39.98. So I don't know if any others are having trouble. So you know what is funny is I have a box cutter. Actually, I have two box cutters that have disappeared. I don't know where they are. So maybe I need a jerry rig everything knife. Maybe I need 12 of them because things just disappear here. JGA, happy Friday to you. Yeah, so just so everyone knows, I'll put this in the chat. Amazon likely still has stock. Here, I'll put the, depending on where you are, at least in the Northeast where I am, they've got stock. But I think they'll get more of these in. I think the electronic shortages that we have experienced are likely done now, especially for cheap stuff like this. And you see that, by the way, Tesla like dropped some of their prices of cars by 20%. So everybody, I'm telling you, this is going to be a quarter of liquidation. Nobody believes me. Gamma Filter says they got stock in Colorado. Matt K says in stock where he is. Hey, Flood of Sins, how you doing? All right, let me get my. It's been hard. I got to get my mojo back, right? I shot 2 videos since the new year. So the next one is going to be of an air compressor, like a portable one. So whenever I see something advertised on Facebook that's a gadget, I buy it because I want to see if it lives up to the advertising. This one does. Recipe Bob is here, and it says in stock. All right, let me get my recording going here. And then I have to bring my daughter to an eye doctor's appointment. It's been a busy week for appointments. I had my little one had to get her dental cleaning. I went to her dental cleaning, and then I take her out to breakfast. There's like a little diner across the street. You know what it is? I don't know what it is about 6-year-olds, but those kids eat butter like raw, right out of the packet. It's crazy. She wanted this waffle with butter on it. So that's what she orders. I want a waffle with butter. So they bring the waffle and the butter's in those little cup things. And they brought that out first, and she opens it up and just starts eating the butter right out of the container. Can't believe it. And then she dumped whatever they had on the table for butter. She just slathered it all over her waffle. So it's funny because like every bunch of my friends who had 6-year-olds who are now older, those kids were eating butter like that too. I don't know what it is about butter and little kids, but crazy. I had no idea that Amazon was not in South Africa. I always thought they were there. I know a bunch of people from South Africa too. MD, thank you for the kind words. Yes, I try not to break stuff. I've always felt like these channels that just trash things, like how wasteful is that? Let's break the iPhone, right? I mean, the exception I will make would be for that Blender guy, because that was fun, right? But the rest of it is just wasteful. Yeah, I need to get my act together on merch. I got to continue researching. I want to get one that's not going to rip all of you off, that's high quality. That's the key. So your neighborhood likes it? Good value? Excellent. JGA, yeah, butter with a side of waffle. That was what she ordered. Tyler, so so it must be based on the Amazon distribution center. Yeah, you know, it's funny, Joe, initially because like there was a lag between the time in which the waffle was delivered to the table, I thought she'd run out of butter before she got there. And what's funny is if you give the kid, my kid would believe it's not butter. She can tell the difference. She knows the difference between butter and not butter. But I guess margarine's not good for you either because of the trans fats or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, I went back to butter. Because now they're saying that there's certain fats that are actually good for you. So who knew? Whatever. I'm 46. I got to think about this stuff now. Okay. Can you believe I'm 46? How did that happen? Let me do a quick recording here. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we got in the brand new Wyze Cam Pan version 3. This is a pan and tilt security camera. They also say it zooms, but that's mostly a digital zoom. And what we're going to do in this video is unbox this, and then in a future video do an in-depth review of this camera. Now, like all the other Wyze cameras, these are very affordable, and they got a lot of features for the price that you pay. And although they're really pushing a subscription service, there are some things you can do with this that are pretty useful without having to pay for the subscription if you slide in an SD card like we're going to do here. Now, as I get my way through the box here, I do want to let you know in the interest of full disclosure that this came in free of charge from Wyze. However, they are not reviewing or approving what you're about to see before it was uploaded, and all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. And they're not, of course, paying for this unboxing either. We got some stickers in the box. This must be for the people that did the pre-order on it. I think this sticker you can put on the front of the camera, and I'll show you where to stick that in a minute. We have our quick start guide here. Show you everything that you get in the box. And then we have the camera itself. And this is a pretty sizable update from the prior editions of their pan tilt cameras. And the big deal here is that this camera is now weatherproof. I believe it is IP65 rated, and you will want to have a power supply for it that is rated for outdoor use or run the wire from inside. And it will need to be powered, though, all the time. So although Wyze makes an outdoor camera that's kind of a notification camera, that one has a battery. This one does not have a battery, so it needs USB power all the time. And of course, you could finagle some kind of battery solar thing if you wanted to go that route. The power supply is here on the bottom. That's where you plug the power cord in. You'll also notice there is an SD card slot here. And this is something where you're going to want to keep the gasket here very tightly sealed for that card to prevent water from intruding. But if you have it covered up there, you should be fine. It will do continuous recording on the SD card. Now, prior editions of these Wyze cameras supported the RTSP standard, so you could use it with any DVR for security cameras. This camera does not support that just yet. I don't know if it's going to, so I wouldn't buy this in anticipation of doing that. And by the way, you could stick your little sticker here on the front of it. Let's see what else is in the box here. We'll open up the box within the box. And here we have our USB cable, and this has a USB-A, and this terminates to a micro USB. Oddly, they're not using USB-C on these cameras, and you'll notice there's some length to this because this is going to seal itself up properly for weatherproofing. So you can see this goes in like so, and that will prevent water intrusion. You do have a little tripod mount here on the bottom too. And in addition, speaking of the mounts, let's get into the rest of this box here. We have, the usual Wyze power supply here. This is not rated for outdoor use. They will be coming out with an outdoor power supply. But again, this is USB, so it'll work with anything. This is a 5-volt, 2-amp power adapter, which is more in line with what you would get for a tablet. So just make sure if you're going to use another power supply that it's 5 volts, 2 amps, because that's what this camera requires. You have some mounting hardware here. And then there is also a little wall mount bracket here. And they say you can have the camera mounted upside down or right side up, depending on how you want to go about things. So that is the unboxing. And now what I want to do is go through the setup process. So let's get this camera attached to my Wyze app. All right, that wasn't bad for a single take. Yeah, you know what? I want a Lon.TV shirt too, and I want a Lon.TV mug. You know what I got to do is, here's my concern with merch. One is the artwork. The other issue is that I don't want to get this low quality garbage either. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that what people get, because a lot of this stuff is made to order. So oftentimes the quality of the fabric is lousy. It falls apart. The mugs are garbage. So I want to make sure I find a good merch partner. Yeah, wasn't that cool, that Zynaps booth? I thought that was neat, especially like how good those voices sounded, right? And I guess they said they only need 10 minutes of audio to make it work. And then what was most interesting was that Microsoft, like the next day, announced that they could do it in, I think, 10 seconds of audio. Pretty crazy. So this is the camera. It's actually a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. But all the guts are down here. And this does like two-way communications and all that kind of stuff. So let's get that the boxes out of the way here. It's kind of cute. I think it's cute. And the other thing it'll do is if you put it into privacy mode, it just points itself down like that. So it actually takes the camera off track. And thank you, Prime. Glad you loved that CE. I really enjoyed doing it. That's what's been fun about it, because like it's challenging because of timing. So for example, most of the events that we went to were in the evening. So and then you're getting back to the hotel. So we would get back around. So let's say so let me back up. So the three big pre-show events we went to were PepCom. Well, two pre and one during. We went to PepCom, CES Unveiled, and Showstoppers. All of them essentially run in the evening. So by the time you get through everything, it's like 9 or 9:30. Then you got to get back to the hotel. So, excuse me, day one, we're back at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I don't do the parties. I don't do any kind of after show socialization because we got work to do. And no RTSP on this one, unfortunately. And so it's rough. So here's the challenge. Usually when you get there, so the next morning you've got stuff to do. So Jake was editing the prior evening's video while I went to the Lenovo meeting, for example. But we don't always have that luxury. So I think ideally I would have, as Matt was indicating, that maybe have 3 people go to the show, or maybe one person back here that can edit while we're out. And the editing doesn't take a long time, but there's still editing to do. And so the other challenge you run into is uploading. So this year, from an upload perspective, was probably the least stressful in that I didn't have to rely on hotel Wi-Fi, and I had a good connection via ultra-wideband with Verizon. So I was tethering out on my phone. But I was not, from my hotel room, I was not getting a lot of upstream bandwidth, only about 5 to 10 megabits per second, which, by the way, is not much better than LTE, but I got 5 to 10 megabits per second, whereas LTE was dead in the evenings once everybody got into town. So it did work better. You'll notice that we uploaded only 1080p from Vegas versus 4K when I got back. So our third dispatch is in 4K. The other two were 1080p just because we didn't have the bandwidth to get the videos uploaded. And CES does have a press room, but even that gets saturated once everybody shows up. So upstream for longer form videos from Vegas is still challenging, but it was a lot better with the ultra wideband this year. So that made a big difference. All right, so let me plug this thing in. And I've got a little power supply down here that we'll use. And it's my power supply. I turned it off. Okay. All right, so we'll plug it in. And Jason, thank you for the kind words on Amazon, and thank you for the follow. Yep, we stream here all the time on Amazon and also on YouTube. And all of that stuff is all my stuff. My mother said, get it out of the house. So I said, all right. So when I moved to my house, got rid of it all. Look at that. It's doing its thing. I'm not sure what it's doing. It's looking at the sky. It's looking for its God. Yeah, I think that's probably my next step, Poorly Buffalo, is that. You know what the problem is, though? I'm so cheap. Like, it's a one-shot thing. I don't need it all the time. So maybe I got to look at, like, a prepaid bonded scenario there. MD says my pic quality is crisp. What camera am I using? So I'm using actually some really low-end, well, not really low-end, but off-the-shelf JVC camcorders. I don't have the exact model number. But if you go on my YouTube channel, I think Lon.TV/production, I did a video about what I'm using. The difference is that we are streaming to YouTube at 4K. So we're going out at about 25 megabits per second, 4K to YouTube, and that I think makes a difference. That's a good point. I don't know. You're right. I think maybe the motor's in here. It must have like some kind of pulley that goes off of that arm there. Happy Friday to you, Redelier 130. Yeah, could you imagine this thing running, like wheeling around? That'd be kind of creepy. Yes, the link in the video description will take you to my live stream on Amazon, and you can pick one up if it's in stock. Hans wants to know, why does the iPhone 14 renewed cost more than the new one? I have no idea. You're right. That is kind of pricey, isn't it? That is a good question. All right, so now we're going to go, let me see where I left off on my clip here. And then we're going to pick it up on the next. Hang on one second. 3, 2, 1. Through the setup process, so let's get this camera attached to my Wyze app. Okay, so that's where I left off. And what I'm going to do here is just move some of my clutter out of the way. I'm guessing it's waiting for my phone. Yeah, it's blinking red here. So now we're going to take my phone out because we have to go through the setup process on the phone. And so we'll bring my phone into play here. All right. You can see I've got a lot of Wyze. I got a lot of Wyze stuff. Some of it's operational, some of it isn't. I actually have their Wyze outdoor plug, which I might pair up with this. All right. Three, two, one. All right, so we've got the camera now plugged into power, and you'll notice that it's got a little red light blinking here, and its lens is looking straight up because it's waiting for some instructions. Now, what you have to do is download and install the Wyze app. And as you can see, I've got a bunch of Wyze devices that are in use or at least paired up with my app here. I'm going to hit the plus icon, and I'm going to go over here to Add Device. I'm going to select Cameras, and we're going to go over to Wyze Pan version 3. And it's going to give us instructions here to plug it in and wait for that blinking red light, which it is currently doing. And now I'm going to click on Next. And what's going to happen here is it's going to ask me to pair it up with my Wi-Fi network. Now, if you have a 5 gigahertz network, this is not going to work with it, although most Wi-Fi access points in the home will automatically assign a device to the right frequency. This is a 2.4 gigahertz only device, and because I have separated my 5 gigahertz from my 2.4 gigahertz networks, I need to select the network that is going to be compatible with this one. So let me do that real quick here in the app, and when we're done, we'll come back and see what the next step is. All right, so let me just do that real quick. Let's set up part 1. Yeah, so for most people, that's not going to be an issue. Looks like we got a Wyze guy here. That's right, Zam. CF542 is here. Hello there. Good to see so many familiar faces here in the new year. It is a great new year. And I'm just going to select my network here. So I have mine on my local IoT network, but hang on a second, let me see what I've got here. I purposely connected my phone to my IoT net. Oh, I didn't. It switched back. Okay, that's what happened there. Hang on. There we go. All right. Check, check. And bear with me here. So make sure I get it on the right spots. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, so I connected my phone to the network that I want to connect the camera to, and as you can see here, it's pre-populated both my Wi-Fi ID along with the password, SSID, 3, 2, 1. All right, so I've paired up my phone with the network that I want to connect the camera to, and if we jump back to the app, you can see that the app has populated the name of the Wi-Fi network along with the password, but you could also manually type this information in if you want. Now I'm going to click on Next, and when I do, I'm going to then be prompted to push the Setup button on our camera, which is right, let me get to the other angle here, which is right here. It's hard to see in the light here, but I'm going to hold down the Setup button, and you're going to get a Ready to Connect message, and then what we're going to do here is click on that I heard that, and the next thing we're going to get is a QR code, a barcode that we're going to have to point at the camera. So I've got my barcode out now. What I'm going to do is just hold the phone over the camera, and I have to do it in such a way that, there it goes. And now it's just going to wait to get that going. And once you hear that QR code, you just confirm in the app that it was heard. You're going to click on Next. And now what's going to happen here is that the camera is going to attach itself to the network, and the app will begin looking for it. And as you can see here, everything just connected up. Our camera actually is moving now. So we are now setup completed, as it said, and we are ready to go. And I'm going to just call this one a office camera. And I'm going to click on Next here. And one of the things they're going to ask you about is their Cam Plus subscription. And you do get additional features with Cam Plus, but what I like to do is look at what you can get with one of these cameras without the subscription. So we're going to no thanks this for now and see what we can get out of this device without having to do that. You have the option to share the camera with other people in your household or friends or other folks that you want to have monitoring things. We're going to skip that for now. There's also a nice mounting guide here to help get your camera set up where you want it. And we can take a look at some of the things here. They're recommending that you'll need a drill and a screwdriver, but the other things in the box here will get you going. And they've got some helpful tips here as to how to get the mounting bracket installed and situated properly for the camera. So I just jumped out of the setup here, but my camera is now on the network here, and if I jump over to it, I now have access to it. And you can hear the audio coming back through also. It will likely need a firmware update when you get it going, so we're going to do the firmware update on the camera, and I think now we're ready to go to start evaluating this camera for my full review. So stay tuned, we're going to have a lot more to look at with this camera, but you can see just how easy it is to get it set up and operating on your network. And once you jump into the app, you can control it and move it around and start playing with things yourself. So we'll be back here more with the Wyze Cam Pan V3. And until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. Yeah, try not to go too much into the weeds here because I'm just trying to do like a little extras channel unboxing video and setup just to show people how it works. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. And DNA wishes the cord was long. Yeah, you know, that's one issue with it, right? Because the cord is kind of proprietary to it. I guess you could probably get a USB extension cable maybe to get a little bit more going there. Yeah, so CES ended on Sunday, which is unusual because usually it ends like on Friday. Usually goes the week. Next year it's a more normal schedule for them. Did you see the QR code, Prime? I'm pretty sure I didn't show it this time, but let me know if you saw it. And my understanding with the QR code is that it is the same every time because it contains I don't think you guys saw that, did you? Let me see. Because what it does is it contains basically the SSID. Oh, it did show up briefly, didn't it, from the side? It does show up there. It does have the SSID and the password embedded in the QR code. It's not encrypted either. It was just from the side though, right? It wasn't like a, let me see. This is my IoT network, so it's not like a mission critical password that I have on it. Let me see what it looks like here, hang on. I'll blur it out in the actual video. I'm just gonna go back through here. I tried my hardest not to show it to the camera, but it looks like I failed in that attempt here. Let's take a look. Yes, I guess I showed it over the... Yeah, it looks like right there. That'd be hard to read it though, right? Because that was the only time that I think I saw it from. Yeah, okay, I'll blur it out. I'm not worried about it too much because that's my... it's my secondary network, so I don't have anything mission critical on that one. But yeah, the passwords are in the clear on that QR code, more or less. And by the way, I just got done changing all of my passwords because of the last pass disaster. So CF says the video quality has deteriorated on your Wyze Cam 2nd gen camera. Really, so you notice a decrease in its quality. I wonder if the sensors go bad or wear out after a while. All right, so here we go. It's actually a lot quieter than prior iterations. I'll give you a 2-up view here. So you know what I'm going to come back and do a, let's see if I can drop this in somewhere. Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a lot of compression artifacts on the image here, so we'll see how good it looks. But I would say the color looks a little better than prior iterations. Here, I'll go full screen here. You know what I could do? I could pass this through to my, hang on, want something cool? Watch this, folks. We're going to do a little NDI magic. So let's go back to, oops. Yeah, we're going, okay. So let me go back to my Wyze app. So you can't actually control it with, let's see. There it goes. It's actually keeping pretty good track of me, I think. So it looks for is any movement. So because I'm moving my phone around, it's getting confused. So it's not looking at like for a person, but it's looking at, it's tracking the phone's direction here. Let's turn that off real quick. I got to play around with this a little bit and see how it works outside. And then the other thing here is if you go into privacy mode, check it out. So if we go to privacy mode, it'll turn itself off. And you can turn it back on with the flick of that switch there. That's pretty cool. Yes, I'll give you a view. I think I can add in the NDI camera here. Let's see if it picks it up. Yeah. No, it didn't pick it up. I've been having some issues with my, oh, I know what's going on. I'm on the wrong network. Hang on a second. Let me connect to the right network. Okay, so now I'm on the right network. And now I can get my phone up here. Okay, so now, there we go. And if I tilt my, go full screen on the camera, yeah. So here's what it, here's what the visuals look like. So that's what it looks like. So you can see there's a good amount of artifacts, but that's what I typically see with these. So it's highly compressed, although, let's see, it is HD. Looks pretty good, though. It is full screen on my phone, but I think this is just a function of the NDI video thing here. Pretty cool. So yes, this will work outside. And let's see if I can get your name right. Vivekanand Kandakatla. Let me know if I got that even remotely close. I always try to pronounce names as best I can. So this is weatherproof, and because it doesn't have a battery, it should work in cold temperatures. And yeah, you can do NDI. There's an app on the iPhone, and I think it's on, I don't think it's on Android for this, but there's an app called NDI Capture HX, and it will take your iPhone's screen and just shoot it out over NDI. And that's how we're able to get this working. So you can see that right there. And then if I hit the out of full screen mode here, we have that. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm just trying to figure out some ways. And I could also like take a video recording. Let me do that real quick and see. May as well do it for the channel here. All right, so I'm doing a quick recording here of my camera. We have it right now just recording, I think, onto my phone so you can get a feel for it. I am moving the camera around a little bit to see if we can hear what it sounds like with the motor. So the motor is definitely a lot quieter than it was before. But there you go, a quick and dirty little recording just to see what the image quality looks like under ideal, well-lit conditions. All right, so I'll stop that. And then what it just did is it copied the footage to my phone. And so what I can actually do with this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send this off to my NAS. And then I can drop it right into our video system here so you can see what it looks like. All right, let's take a look. So I'm going to drop it into my current projects folder here. Okay, so now let me go back to I'll load it in so you can just get a look at the image quality. So let's go to video. It's the first one on the list. Okay, hang on one second. And we're going to go to my current projects folder. That was about 2.3 megabytes, in case you're wondering. And here, I'll turn it up for you. So let me turn on the audio here in a second. I'm just going to turn the... So it definitely has some artifacting here. Let me replay it with the sound on. So the motor is doing a quick recording here of my camera. We have it right now just recording, I think, onto my phone so you can get a feel for it. I am moving the camera around a little bit to see if we can hear what it sounds like with the motor. So the motor is definitely a lot quieter than it was before. But there you go, a quick and dirty little recording just to see what the image quality looks like under ideal, well-lit conditions. So there you go. Pretty cool. Isn't it amazing how how you can just grab stuff and integrate it into your production workflow like that? I just think it's neat. Okay. I got it right. How about that? Yeah, they do. It's amazing how inexpensive they are. Omar wants to know, will it support a 1 terabyte SD card? Well, you know, as a matter of fact, I have, let me check my press kit that I got from them. And we'll take a look and see. They sent me a 128 gigabyte card. And by the way, there's more coming from them too, so this is just one of a few things that are coming out soon from them. All right, give me 1 second. And by the way, I'm getting in a new Kensington trackball. I'm excited about that. Bear with me for a second. I just got to find what I'm looking for here. Oh, yeah. And let's take a look at the press kit. And I will tell you, they sent some specs in with that press kit. So, okay, it up to 256 gigabytes. So no terabyte on that one. But what I am going to do is insert the card. Actually, let me do one thing real quick here. Before I forget, I want to make sure I have a spot where I can cut, so stand by. Phone over the camera. For now, there's also a nice mounting guide here. The mounting bracket installed and situated properly for the camera. So I just jumped out of the setup here, but my camera is now on the network here, and if I jump over to it, I now have access to it. And you can hear the audio coming back through also. It will likely need a firmware update when you get it going, so we're going to do the firmware update on the camera, and I think now we're ready to go to start evaluating this camera for my audio coming back through also. It will likely need a firmware update when you get it going, so we're going to do the firmware update on the camera. All right, so I'm going to stop right there, and then what I'm going to do is cut in with this new recording I'm about to make just to show it working. I feel like if people are going to sit through like 5 minutes of it setting up, and let's take a look and see. Oops, let's just go and drop into the app here just to show people how it works. All right. Oh, you know what else it can do? It's got like waypoints you can set on it. What the heck does that do? Oh, I see, it does like its own little, it's got like a little patrol that it does. Check it out. So it goes on patrol. And you can set different waypoints. So it does like 10 seconds at each waypoint. That's cool. That's called pan scan. How do we get at all that stuff? So these are recent events here. Oh, you can just slide across the app here too. So I think it's 180 degrees. And 360 this way. So that's the end there. So I guess the trick is trying to figure out where the front of it is. Ooh, so is this not, hang on a second. I'm just looking through the some of the settings here. So I guess this doesn't record anything if you don't have an SD card attached. What's the new rule? Like, you know, they have different rules based on when you bought the camera. So Cam Plus, get access to video recordings and get alerts for person. Okay, so that's the AI stuff. So is it not doing the cloud recordings anymore, I guess is the question. Because the other ones do. All right, so let me set it up to do like a motion event here. So let's arm it. I think I can do that here. You can also set the motor speed, so you can have it go faster or slower. All right, so I got it set to record all motion events. So we'll make some motion here and see if that sets it off. And I'm going to hold really still. Because right now, if you look at it, it's got the red light on. You can't see it from that angle. Let me just change it this way real quick. And I don't have the SD card installed on it yet. So let me turn this. Let me turn it this way here. Hang on, let's see. What I'm trying to do is set it off so that it will fire off a notification. So if I wave my hand in front of it here, and I have my do not disturb on my phone, so I wonder if that is why I'm not seeing anything. Let's see. Yep, okay, so it did pick up motion. And now if I go into the camera, oh, okay. So get Cam Plus to remove 5-minute cooldown and record videos. Let's go to all events. Let's see. Oh, so it only shows me a still image. Interesting. So that's a big change, because before you would get a little bit of cloud storage. Let me try it again. So I'm doing my wave in front of the camera here. And it's got a 5-minute cooldown. This is a lot. They've changed a lot on this, actually. I'm not sure that's for the better either. Hang on a second. Let me see what we're all saying here. Yeah, it looks like they're not supporting that any longer. I think what happened was they got a big infusion of investment money, and I have a feeling that these investors are really pushing yeah, interesting. I have a feeling these investors are really pushing subscription services. So what I want to do now is figure out with the SD card here. So we have an SD card that I'm going to, this works with any SD card, they just happen to send me one. I'm going to stick this in here and see if we can get something, if we can get video if we store it locally. Because you know, if it records to the SD card, then I'm not all that worried about it. Because you have an option. Because that's been one of the things I've liked about these cameras is that, yes, you can get the convenience of the cloud. All right, so we put the SD card in there. All right, we got a little ding to acknowledge that we did that. And now what we're going to do is let's go back into the settings here for the camera. All right, so we got it set to record events. And let's go over to the SD card settings here. So record to SD card. I'm just going to have it initially just do events only. And for the heck of it, I'm just going to format the card just to make sure that we get the card situated. And while that's going, I'm going to put my phone back on Do Not Disturb. Hey, that's pretty cool. Doug DeMuro replied to one of my tweets earlier. That's awesome. I love Doug DeMuro. All right, let's go settings, and we're going to turn on Do Not Disturb again. Okay. All right, so we're just going to finish formatting the card. It has been formatted. There's a lot of this is like one of those things where I was bummed out I didn't have enough time to do as much as I wanted to do today, because I really would have liked to have recorded the full review here. Okay, so we're going to get the camera situated here. And what I'm going to do now is repeat our last experiment. So I'm going to put my hand in front of it here. And hopefully that triggers a motion event. So it must even do the cooldown with wow, they really crippled these things, huh? Detection settings. Event recording. So I have it recording all motion events. So these cooldown periods are basically how long it will wait between firing off. Yes, have it set to do that. Okay, there it goes. I picked that up. Now I have the SD card on it, but it won't play it back. This was at 129, which is just the one we just did. Huh, so how does this work now? Do I have to like go in manually and do that? Let's see, SD card. Oh, geez. Failed to load from local storage. So there's the event that happened at 129, but it is not pulling it up for us to look at. So, wow. Yeah, this has changed considerably. Because what I'm getting here on the event page is just the still image. And I have the SD card installed. Let me do this again and see if we can trigger it. If I use ChatGPT to write my scripts or newsletter faster, yes, I would totally do that. And I did try, you know, it's funny, I experimented with it. I gave ChatGPT my entire transcript of one of my YouTube videos and told it to summarize it. It didn't do a very good job. All right, let's take a look here. So it got that still image, but I don't get the video. So to get the video, I've got to go like through an extra hoop here. I mean, granted, I know they're trying to like get more people to, yeah, it's not playing it back. All right, let's reboot the camera and see if maybe that will function better. So I have the SD card in, we formatted it. But let's do a restart and see if we can figure this out. So the free Cam Plus thing is not no longer a thing. So if you get a new camera, the free Cam Plus doesn't work with it. And the icon, right, is a photo, but I told it to record video for motion events. And I'm purposely doing this without, looks like it got stuck there. I'm purposely doing this without the Cam Plus subscription because I want to see what you can get without a subscription. Yeah, it's not playing back anything from the SD card. Oh, there we go. That's something. Oh, now I think it's working now. So that's a video. Now it can record continuously too, so it's not.
And hopefully my hand in front of it here.
Yeah, there it goes. So now it's playing it back.
And hopefully that triggers.
So that's a recording off the SD card.
So it must even do.
But the question here is that if you go and look at the events in this interface, which would be the easiest place to look for it, it won't play it back as a video. So it doesn't link to, oh, let's hit that. I guess it jumps into the other interface there. So it's kind of clunky. Let's go back to the live view.
Go back to the live view.
And what this is going to do is play back the events that it detected. So it's kind of a multi-step process. And if you look, so here's a good contrast. So if by contrast, I have my front door camera. And so this is still on the old way it used to work, which is that you get, we had couches delivered today. Nice couches too, actually. So what it would do is it would record and it shoots it up to the cloud because I'd get a certain amount of cloud storage with the camera. This is how it used to work from the beginning of time. And so here's all this video, right, that's playing off the cloud. On this camera, in that same interface, I get a still image, and I'll trigger another one here. And wait for it to finish cooling down here. It doesn't look like there's a cooldown if you've got the SD card installed. Maybe there is one. So what happens here now is that I just get a still image, and I can't play this back because I'm not subscribed. But if I go to playback, it jumps to this other interface from the SD card. So I think that's how it's working there. Yeah, you know, I'll put it outside. We're definitely in the winter here, so I could definitely test it outside and see how it does. You do kind of like a long-term look at it. But I'm looking at their right to them. I'm curious because it looks like they've significantly reduced some of the functionality if you're not subscribed. And it doesn't seem like there's an easy way to browse through. Okay, here we go. Let's do that. And so I was not having it continuously record. You can set it to continuously record so you can get at the footage that way. So you can see that this motion event started. And by the way, moving the camera is enough to trigger a motion event, obviously. So that's something to bear in mind, too. And so it plays up from the bottom. So each one of these little things here are examples of that. And this is playing off the SD card. Yeah, it looks like they've really reduced some of the functionality. So we'll have to take a look at that. Any new whatnot sales going on? Yes, we're going to have some soon, so stay tuned. I've got a bunch of stuff. We're going to do my video game sale next, and then we'll get to some more, getting rid of some more stuff. And new Twitter has been working out okay for me. I haven't done much video yet because the monetization isn't there. But once they implement some of the monetization stuff, I'll start uploading videos to Twitter too. So yeah, it looks like yeah, I gotta get some more detail as to how that works without the subscription. It looks like they're really pushing subscriptions now. So the subscription plan on this, how does that work? So Cam Plus, yeah, see, this is, I don't get it. Okay, so basic plan, always free. Let me see, do I have, yeah, I can share this with you. Let's take a look at the breakdown here. Bear with me here, folks. Okay, so Cam Plus is $1.67 per camera per month, billed annually, and then monthly it's $1.99. And so what you get is no cool down period, back-to-back recordings, but you'll notice that you just get the snapshot. And then Cam Plus Lite is not available for this camera. So your older cameras are eligible, which I did on my other camera, but not the new ones. So the new ones, you've got to go for the Gusto here. And then they have an unlimited plan, which is $100 a year. And it will add some of the AI features also. So it's a pretty big departure, I think, from how this used to work. So we'll have to cover that in the video. Interesting. Okay, so let me do, now that I'm getting my understanding of the product here figured out. Let me just loop this sucker around here. Yeah, so I think it's going to be important for people that are buying new Wyze cameras to add to their network that the new cameras are going to be lacking features that the old ones could do without a subscription. So that's a pretty big change, in my humble opinion. IMHO, right? Is that what I'm supposed to? Is that how the cool kids say it? IMHO. Okay. So let me cut back to here and let me see where I left off. Okay, yeah. So there we go. And I think what I'll do is record this while we. Let's see if I can sync it up. I'll do a little multicam. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we got our cameras. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we got our camera's firmware updated, and just to show you how things work here, when you're in the live view, you can grab your phone and anywhere in the world control the camera's position here. It will go 180 degrees up and down here, as you can see, and then 360 degrees around like this. And right now I have it recording imagery to my phone directly. It looks pretty much in line with other Wyze cameras from a video quality perspective. As you can see, there's a lot of compression artifacts here, but the sound is okay on it, as you can hear here. And you're able, I think, to get a pretty good image here for the price point at least. And we've got a lot more, though, to look at with this camera. So I'm going to be taking a couple of days to play around with it and figure out how it all works. One thing I'm noticing out of the gate, though, is that if you don't subscribe to their Cam Plus service, the functionality on these new cameras is reduced versus the functionality you had on the old ones. So, for example, on older Wyze cameras, you would get some degree of free cloud storage for video recordings. You don't get that free cloud storage any longer with new cameras from Wyze. So your old cameras will have it, the new ones won't. So the SD card is going to be a lot more important on this camera if you are intending to operate it without subscribing to their service. And I'll have a lot more to elaborate on that in my upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching. All right, that'll cover it, I think, for the conclusion of the Extras channel video. All right, so let me go back in here. And I have to go run in about 15 minutes so I can get this up before I have to go pick my kid up. It never ends. All right. So I'm a little concerned we're losing some functionality here, especially if you have experience with this product line, right? Because in the past, you'd have a lot more that you would get out of these things, and now that is not the case. So I think it's important for people to know that, even if you have an existing Wyze camera. So I got a bunch of Wyze cameras that are going to work differently than this new one will, because I don't pay for the subscription. I just don't like, I mean, I get it that the product is super inexpensive, and I guess the subscription subsidizes that to some degree, but yeah. All right. Yes, so this does have a color night vision mode, which I'll experiment with tonight. So we'll play around with that in the review too. So yeah, so that's one of the big new features of this one, is that it does have that additional mode locked in there. And let's see, I think I'm missing some. Yeah, I'll take a few more comments here. Mark A, thanks for the CES coverage. Yeah, I think it's gonna. You know, it's funny. I got to give Lenovo a lot of credit, because they experiment more with some of the more outlandish ideas versus some of the other companies out there, right? So, for sure. So I'm eager to see how that all plays out with their dual screen laptop there. Yeah. So here's the deal. I did the same thing, and I picked like $0 just to see what would happen. So that works on the older cameras before. So they have a new crop of cameras, this being the first of that new crop. And these cameras are not going to have the Cam Plus option. So I'm guessing most people, when they named their price, they said nothing, like me. So that's going to change the dynamic a bit. So Cam Plus does not work on this. It also does not work with Apple HomeKit. And I don't know if Wyze is planning to support Matter. So it looks like they are. I'm looking at the thing here. Wyze is exploring Matter, but they haven't announced anything that works with Matter yet. But I think when that happens, these will work with HomeKit. So I think they're moving in that direction. Yeah, so I think that's one of those things where, you know, if you want to roll your own, and this comes back to some of the issues with the Eufy cameras, right? Like, so, you know, Wyze never said that you're not in the cloud. In fact, these things often kind of relied on the cloud, and still do with the subscription. So, I think if you want to roll your own system, a Synology solution or the Swan solutions or the other NVRs that are out there might be a better way to go. So I think what happened when I did it is I set mine to 0 and it let me do it. But the new cameras aren't going to support the name your price thing. So if I go back to their FAQ, let me go back, Wyze Cam Pan V3. Let me go to the FAQ on this. There was an FAQ on their page somewhere. Custom detection zones, installs in 30 seconds, yada, yada, yada. Where did it go? FAQ, let's see. Give me a second here. I know I saw it somewhere where they were talking about, yeah, here we go. Wyze Cam Pan V3, FAQ. Okay, so can I get Cam Plus Lite on my Wyze Cam Pan V3? And it's only available, so Cam Plus Lite is only on cameras released before April of 2022. So this being a camera released in January of 2023, it will not have that as an option. So that is that. And there is no RTSP option, so they want you in the ecosystem here. Yeah, my guess is that it's going to be a lot easier for them to implement it through Matter versus HomeKit, so I think that's where it's going to go. And I would say those who are fans of Matter will say it does matter quite a bit, right? I think Matter is going to become the best, and I think the reason why it's going to become the best primarily is because Apple is supporting it, and what that does is it, for any product that doesn't work with Apple, it will then work with Apple if it supports Matter. So I think that's how it's going to work. So yeah, so that's it. All right, well, I got some work to do here. But I wanted to at least give you a sneak peek at what I'm working on next. So I'm going to be putting some stuff together here. I think it's going to be really critical in this video to talk about what happens if you don't subscribe. And then $1.67. Let me see how this plays out. It's confusing also because if you have more than 5 cameras, then it makes sense until yeah, so 6 cameras. Yeah, so it's like when you get beyond 5 cameras, then going to their unlimited plan is probably what you want. It's not all that expensive comparatively, $100 a year for for monitoring, but it's just different in how it works. And Zam says it's a matter of time until Matter comes out. So I did see, that was the one thing I saw at the show was Matter was all over the place. Like a lot of the home stuff I was looking at, SwitchBot in particular has Matter support. And so they were demoing, they were pretty smart in how they presented it because they had an iPad connecting to their home hub over Matter. And you could adjust a curtain with their curtain robot with a little thing there. So. Pretty cool stuff. So Eric's is coming in on Monday. So there you go. You got a little sneak peek on it. Is that coming out, the Ring drone? Is it actually something I can buy? Because remember they were talking about it, but I never saw the thing. I'll totally review that. For sure. But yeah, I will say though that I'm a little disappointed with how they're handling the subscription stuff now. Because and I think the value proposition of Wyze was that the stuff was super inexpensive and you could operate it without a subscription. It was there, but it wasn't important. But now it's like the functionality is significantly different because it's not even integrating into the event interface. So again, just to show you what happens here, when I go to my events, first of all, the cooldown period is such that you're not going to see the event if it's within that 5-minute window. And then all I get is a still image, and then I got to hit this to play it back. It does do it though, it brings you right there, but it's still an extra step. Whereas before you just get, this is what's funny is I have it working with my other camera upstairs. So here's like my example of how it would work with the subscription. I love the doorbell camera. That works really well. Yeah, so then, gosh, there's so many different options. Cam Plus Pro versus Cam Plus. I guess Cam Plus Pro is monitoring. But I think on one of these cameras, let's see, maybe it's this one. Let me go back to my doorbell. I'm curious now how I set this up. So if I go to my front doorbell camera, I hit my gear icon here. Device info. Yeah, so I have the Doorbell Pro. Let me see what my account is set to here. So Cam Plus. I'm just trying to see where you even set this thing up. Cam Plus. So confusing. Cam Protect, which is, what is that? Home monitoring, which is different. Services. Cam Plus Lite. Ah, okay, so let's take a look. So I have, oops. So I have my garage camera on Cam Plus Lite. And I can't add, so the only ones that are available, so even my doorbell camera is not eligible for this. So my studio, my old pan cam is eligible, as is my kitchen camera, which is this the V3 camera. So if I select that, and what am I paying? So I think I told it I didn't want to pay anything. Oh, sorry, app rules are okay, so I have to then go to the website to set that up. And Eric's got the SwitchBot curtain thing. Yeah, if I had curtains, I would be totally into that. They also have one now that opens and closes blinds, but I've got these weird, we have pull-down blinds, which have been awful, by the way. Terrible, but that's what we have. I spent way too much money on them. So the only thing I could say is that there's more cameras coming. I signed up on the list to get the Amazon robot, but I backed out. They accepted my request. What was that? What was the Amazon? Oh, the Amazon robot thing. That's right, the thing that walks around. So you know what's cool? Synology's doing some neat stuff. Synology now has a deep learning NAS device, which works a lot like their other ones, but it has some additional, I don't know what they've put into it. Maybe it's just more memory or hardware or processing. But it will do license plate detection and logging and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you do have to pay a per camera license fee, but I think it's one time. And I don't believe you can, I think you have to subscribe, let's see. See, now you're going to make me buy something, Matt. So it looks like you can do the subscription through the phone. And I don't know if it's cheaper. It looks like it's the same as what I saw on the website. I don't want to hit this button because I'm going to get charged. Let's see what happens. I don't want to do this. Let me do the monthly. I can cancel it if I get hit with it. Yeah, I'm not doing this. And you can select which cameras you want on there. It looks like you can do it through the app. Maybe I'll apply for that invitation. I don't think that'll go well in this house with kids and a dog running around. And Eric moved to California shutters. What are those? California shutters. Are those things that are long that... Okay, oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Yeah, so they have a robot that attaches to the little twisty thing. That might actually work for those, if you have the twisty thing. But I think those just go up and down, right? But yeah, they got to pay that 30%. I think they probably left it in here for convenience on this stuff, but yeah. So, all right. Well, we've got some work to do. So I'm probably going to get this review. I was hoping I still have a lot of time this week. It's been a crazy week, but we'll get going there. Hey, Trigger is here. Trigger W on Amazon. And you have the Astro, an interesting work in progress. So yeah, we'll get back to this stuff. All right. Well, we are going to call it a day, I think, but I'll be back again. We'll be back to more of our usual live stream cadence here. And I got some more Wyze stuff that I will be able to look at next week too, and see what goes on there. What does Bill say? Unlimited is $129 a year now. Wow. So where did I see it being $99? Maybe that was on the website. I bet you, you know what I bet you? I bet you that it's cheaper on the website. Let's take a look. Let me log into their website. And let's see. Yeah, I just think it's going to be important for people who have other Wyze cameras who have not been subscribed to understand the difference here, because that's going to make, I think it's going to make some folks confused. Bear with me here. I got to log back into I'm still trying to figure out this whole Bitwarden thing. It's great. It works, very similar to how LastPass worked, but it also is a little different. So I have to have like the app running in the background to like validate my thing here. Let me just log in real quick and see what. Oops. Got to do my reCAPTCHA. Bear with me here, folks. I just want to see if the price is different on the website. So, subscriptions. What am I subscribed to? So right now I am on, there's a whole separate website called Services. And I am on Cam Plus Lite. And it only applies to certain cameras. I dialed in $0. But they said 48% of customers have chosen to do $2.48. And this apparently didn't work because they didn't keep doing it. So Cam Plus, if you go directly on the website, is $99 a year on the website. So it looks like they're adding, let me look at it on the app here. So if I use the app, and I would imagine this is true of, yeah, so they add the Apple tax in. So billed annually, $99 on the website. On here, it's $129.99. And so if you have more than 6 cameras, it probably makes sense to, or 5 cameras, it probably makes sense to do the Cam Plus Unlimited. All right, well, yeah. It's weird, though, that on the individual plan, it's the same price. It's just if you do the unlimited one, they charge you more. Yeah, $1.67 on both of these. Yeah, comes out about the same. But the unlimited is different. Yep, so there you go. So we're going to, we'll be investigating in due course further on the new Wyze Cam version 3. So we got some work to do, but if you have been satisfied with what you got for free before, what you get for free now is much less. And so I think that's going to be a sticking point with some folks. All right. Yeah, and I guess Canada will be a little different. Yeah, LastPass is a disaster. And not only did I migrate, but I had to change all my passwords. So it's been a very big, this is like all like right before we went on our family vacation also. So it's a nightmare. Eric says $10 a month for Canada unlimited, but no annual option. Yes, I guess it's going to be different by region too. So yeah, I think this kind of brings them in line with Ring, because Ring always required the subscription, right? This one, you had some really good functionality without it. I have not seen any extension cables, but there might be. Let me look and see on their website if they've got, because they do a lot of direct sales too. Because that's the one issue, is that it's more of a it's not a proprietary connector, but the way the cable connects for weatherproofing is proprietary in that sense. So let's take a look and see if on their accessories. I mean, I get it, but yeah, I don't see any. They have a Wyze outdoor power adapter. And there's a new version coming out, so that might be what you might need. But I don't see an extension cable for this. And some people might need a longer cable. And there's also some length limitations on the USB standard when it comes to power too, I think. And I think they charge you regardless if the camera's plugged in or not. I think it's assigned to the camera. So I don't think they look at whether it's on or not. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for tuning in. Nothing new that I've heard. They were not at CES this year. So I think they're sticking with what they've got on the ATSC3 front, probably trying to just to keep the supply going. Yeah, it was, LastPass really was a disaster. I've been listening to Security Now. It's just like, ugh. I mean, I think you're probably okay, more or less, you know, given it still requires some complexity to break into these passwords. But if you had a weak password, it's going to be easier to break it. So, all right, let me run here and get this extras video uploaded, and I will catch you all very soon. One more question here. Can you attach your camera to a NAS? Not this one. You used to be able to do it with the Wyze. Wyze had a RTSP firmware that let their cameras do that. I'm sure somebody will hack together some firmware to make this one do it, but right now that is not an option with the new ones. They're really trying to steer you to that subscription plan. And 7-3 to you, Joe Tyson. I gotta get back into the swing of things on my amateur radio exploits. That phone got me going again. I gotta get my antennas up. That's gonna be a winter project. Also to get my general license too. I gotta get back into the studying on that too. So, all right, everybody. I will catch you on the next stream. Bye for now. Oh, wait, one more question. Yeah, Trigger says Ring seems to integrate best with the big. Yeah, so Ring is all, you know, Amazon. So your choices are, right, you do your own thing or you buy one of these hardware subscription packages, unfortunately. And that's, Wyze was kind of in the middle. They had a subscription, but you didn't need it. But now, like, a lot of the functionality is going to require that subscription, unfortunately. All right, well, I will catch you all on the next video. Bye for now.